Team, what's going on? Welcome back to now the fourth episode of the newly relaunched ICM podcast. Cal and I continuing our theme of being, I think it's an episode a month that we're averaging at the moment. So we are desperately trying our best to be slightly more frequent with these. But they
Four's pretty good. Four in a month and a half is pretty good going.
To be fair, it's better than what we normally do, because normally we get to a point where we do something for 2 months and then we'd move on to something new. But
Exactly.
we're growing, mate. We're growing, and you know what else is growing? Your beard. That is.
It's growing at an alarming rate.
It's almost at a point now. So for anyone who's watching this, anyone who's not watching this, you've missed out. Anyone who's watching this, it almost looks at a point where it looks fake. I can't take seriously, mate. It's so thick and so dense, and I swear
This is what 8 IUs of growth hormone a day does to a beard.
Can we plug a biolab link somewhere and then spit
Yeah,
that in
exactly.
as well? Good mate, that is obscene. Honestly, I think I saw you last week, and you didn't have that. Actually, no. Did you go to Dubai for 3 days and just came back with a beard? Is that what it was?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, came back with a beard. Yeah,
Just beard by proxy type thing.
exactly.
I still can't wait for you November this year as well, because
It's going to be
back
ridiculous,
full
man.
tash. I know
It's going to be ridiculous. I'm still shaving the mustache to contain it at the moment, but once I let go of the mustache control, it will be off the charts.
And what you could do, just mess with Han and just completely get rid of the tash. Just be like, do the opposite of what you used to have and just go bald here, bald top lip, and then just beard, and just bring that in.
Yeah.
There we
Yeah,
go.
I'd fit right in Dubai with that facial.
Exactly. You'd either fit right in, you wouldn't be allowed in the border. One of the two. No, it's like the throwback to the race strict goatee days. They were
Well,
good
actually,
days as well.
the funny thing was my Emirates ID I did when I still had a mustache, and this is the first time I've been back with a beard. So when I went through because there's like a GCC entrance for passport control, and when I went through to show my ID card, the thing wouldn't recognise my face. So I had to go up to the stall and like show the guy the photo, because obviously it was it was such a different picture.
God. Oh man, you should have done a picture from like 2 years ago and see what
I
that
know.
looked like as well, because it's been like a face transformation in various different directions over the last few years.
It has.
Um,
It has.
I remember the big Cal days. They were the good days. We actually spoke just before this about reminiscing about the times we used to train in that little garage outside your house.
Oh, it's brilliant.
And that old lady that was one of your neighbours who thought you were dying in there every single week.
Yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. Absolutely
Right,
brilliant.
actually- Mate,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
not gonna lie.
starting
I know you
to
said
get
this.
back into it.
I know you said this. I miss those days a little bit. I actually,
Yeah.
the novelty obviously wore off pretty quick, but the simplicity of just being like, well, my exercise pool is 6 exercises total.
Yeah,
I'm just going to do them. Like that's all I've got to play with. Like, that
Yeah.
simplicity was actually quite fun. Every time you gym at home, like, you didn't have to leave the house. You could just be a bit of a hermit.
yeah.
They were the
Because
days.
I remember you were training in. You had that like half rack, didn't you? And you were. I think you were training in your garden or a driveway or something.
Yeah, it was. I'd just come back from London. I was actually, I think, because you could travel between places, and because I lived on my
Yeah.
own at the time, like all the bubble stuff. Like, I had a bit more freedom to move around. I had all my kit in my parents' place in a garage, and I'd go
Yeah.
around there. Like that was my gym that I'd drive to. And do you remember? So I had a half rack that was they don't make them like for our height. I swear, I accidentally bought the borrower version, so mine went to like 4 foot tall. But do you remember as well? So my parents actually had their roof done in lockdown.
Yeah,
So
because
like
there's a scaffold there. I
the
remember.
house.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I had that there as well. I was like, this is great, this.
yeah.
Rather than like trying to stand around like a lamppost and all the neighbours thinking I was trying to pull it over.
No, it's just crazy. Remember foam roller wall squats?
The amount of people that I made vomit in their own living room was...
Like occluded foam.
I say that. You made me
Occluded.
vomit pretty much in the garden.
Yeah. Occluded foam roller wall squats with a heel wedge, and then you can do them with a band as well, and then wall sit isometrics, and then occluded walking lunges. It's literally worse than any exercise in the gym you could ever create.
I'd never known pain like it until doing those. And honestly, I'd be 10 minutes into a session, I'm like, I think I'm done.
Yeah, it's like,
And
why do we ever even go to the gym anymore? I'll just do this forever.
Did I tell you about the time as well when when gyms open back up again? And I told this story actually on David Mertz's podcast the other day, where gyms had just opened back up. I was in Harrogate, and the only gym we had in Harrogate was a Pure Gym.
Right.
So obviously Pure Gym was 24 hours. I was like, sweet, I can't wait to get back in. Obviously, first session back, I was like, I'm going to train arms because that's the pump I've missed. And I think it must have been about 3:30. I was like, right, I'll go train now. I think I've done all my work for the day. I'll go train, 10, 15-minute walk to the gym. Got ready. I was like, oh, this is great. It's so quiet in here. There's barely anyone in the gym. Went to a cable stack in the corner. I'd done one set of push downs.
Yeah.
There'd been an announcement of some kind over on the tannoy, and I had my headphones in, so I didn't hear it. And I noticed one of the PTs coming across to me, and I was like, what's going on here? He's like, oh, sorry, mate. We're about to close. We're actually only allowed to be open until 4, so you're going to have to leave. So my first gym session back that I've been waiting for 6 months for, one set of push downs, and got kicked out. And I nearly cried, mate, on the walk home. I was like, that's it. I'm going to get into, I don't know, I'm going to get into like baking or something and just do something that's more fun where I can be fat and happy. Mate, weird times. It's also a mad thing that was 5 years ago.
Yeah. Was it 5 years ago?
Because I actually, it was announced that I was joining you boys at the Muscle Mentors at the start of lockdown. It was like 2 weeks before lockdown hit. And that was...
it would have been,
2020. Yeah.
Yeah, that's mad. That's mad. The irony was, because when I put that thing on my Instagram the other day about the garage sessions, there's quite a few of my old clients from years ago that were like, oh, I remember when you boys used to put videos out in lockdown, or I remember the programs you used to send out. A lot of those exercises, mate, we invented in lockdown. Oh. And then the whole industry copied everything we did.
Mate, I'm not going to lie. I think it's not even just lockdown stuff.
Yeah.
There were so many things that you and Luke brought in back in the Muscle Mentors days that everyone now just does.
Yeah.
Genuinely. I'm not saying, or not necessarily invented, but popularised.
Yeah.
I know a lot of it's been bastardised now, but anything with cuffs, anything with D handles, no one else was doing it. Yeah. And then suddenly everyone started doing it.
I had a session with Josh and Joe when I was in Dubai last week. We were talking about 1MR and the cuffs and stuff, and he was like, he's sold X amount, and I was like, I should have fucking had shares in 1MR, mate, because we were the person that told you to do it.
Because you coached both of them at the time, didn't you? So you're like, boys.
Yeah, he made the cuffs based on what we were programming it. So I was like, yeah, we probably should have thought of that ourselves, to be honest.
Mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's legacy right there.
Crazy.
5 years. We'll have to do a full reminisce one day. Go through
I know.
Calendar over the years, but we can't do that now because it's currently about 2 o'clock in the morning, judging by where you are. So we're going to have to be a little bit briefer today.
What time is it there?
8:20, mate. So it's quite a nice.
8:20. That's good.
A little bit of a walk this morning. Had a mentoring call before this, 7 till 8.
Nice.
And then speak to your pretty face, mate.
Speak to the beard.
Yeah, Tash envy and beard envy. Because going back to facial hair, because obviously that's why people listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
Have I told you about that? I'm at that annoying stage now where, Tash is not too bad, but I get that point where it's I'm going to try and look to the camera. It goes into
No, you don't need to tell me. I can see it.
Yeah, you can probably smell it, to be fair.
Yeah. What does Georgie think? What does Georgie think of the facial hair?
Well, she's told me that if ever I shave it all off, she's leaving me. And that's not even a joke. So, right, I did this once, and I'm going to need your opinion and the listener's opinion. So, this podcast is going to take a turn. So, we went to a funeral, 3 years ago, and I can't remember what it was. I'd forgotten my razor or my clippers or something. So I was proper feral beard stage, and I was like, I can't go like this because I just can't. But the only option I had was to shave everything off.
Yeah.
So I think we were down south somewhere. We stayed at a hotel the night before, and I came out of the bathroom looking basically like an 8-year-old. And she was like, "You are never doing that again. Honestly, if you do that again, we're fully done." And I was like, "Well, I either had to rock up looking like I did then, like this, or just basically that hair smack."
Yeah, you can't really win in that situation.
No, exactly. But yeah, so she likes the dash. It gets annoying because obviously, like even like we'll go for a coffee, and she'll look at it and be like, "You got milk in that? Like you look like an idiot." A bit like in Hot Fuzz,
Yeah,
the Andes,
yeah,
and he
yeah,
takes a big I think it's beer. He's got a pint, isn't he? Takes a big sip, and he's
yeah.
got that big like mark here, and he's like, "You got a moustache," and he just sits there and goes, "I know." That's basically my life
That's
now.
your flat white moustache.
That is my flat white moustache, unfortunately. That's why I've got to have a cup that's got
Oh, there you go.
a
Yeah,
little thing there. So there's ways around it, mate. There's ways around it.
yeah.
But
Just smart. Just they're evolving. You're evolving with the moustache.
I'm becoming Australian, mate. That's what it is. The mullet's going
I'm
to
a
be coming
little
in
bit
quite soon as
disappointed
well.
you don't have a mullet and you haven't called me a cunt yet.
Oh, I didn't. But I don't like you that much. It's a compliment out here. So,
Yeah.
mate, give it time. Give it. It's actually been almost exactly a year since we got here. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be like levels now.
When you next walk in, when you next walk back home and like see your parents, just go in wearing Birkenstocks, shorts, a vest, a massive mullet, a backwards cap, and just be like, "You're right, cunts."
That fucking sick cunt, mate. Yeah. Just they're like, Alex, are you okay? Darling, I think you should go back now. You're not one of us anymore. But like the anti-northerner.
That'd be brilliant.
Well, actually, in
Brilliant.
exciting news though, I've convinced Cal to move out here. So any Australian-based folk out here, Cal said that he's sick of England and will literally
Yeah,
move anywhere else in the world.
I don't
So
know how long I can last. I don't know how long more I can last. To be honest.
2 days in Dubai and that was enough to be like, actually,
Yeah, I know.
time to leave.
I might come
Actually,
back.
to be fair, I'm actually going to put a quick plug in there. So, anyone who is watching this in Oz, and especially in Sydney, 12th of April, me and two of the guys are actually hosting a live coaching event on Bondi Beach, which is quite cool. So we're going to be
wow.
going through some trainer education stuff, kind of like essentially like a full seminar day. We've got some theory stuff, some practical stuff. I'm going to be going through practical coaching application and then going through coaching setups.
On the beach.
No, sorry, so not actually on the beach. There's
Oh,
basically on the beach front. There's
okay.
it's called Bondi Pavilion. So there's like a
Nice.
big room up there at top. You might have seen Peacock did one of the.
Oh, is that?
OT
Yeah,
events
yeah,
there.
Matt. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so he did one of the events there. I
Right.
might say December, so a couple of months back. So we're actually
Yeah.
using the same space. So tickets are actually going live tomorrow, the 7th. So
Pop them in
pending.
the bio of the video.
Yes. Well, to be fair, with our rate of being able to post this, we'll probably have already done the event by the time it actually goes live. So anyone can come on to the second
Yeah.
event.
Yeah.
Yes, we have that, which would be really cool. So yeah, me and two of the guys doing it. Two good friends out here. So the ICM is officially going global, which is very exciting.
Good.
Which would be cool. But we promised on the last episode that we weren't just going to waffle. And I know
Yeah.
people like hearing us just talking rubbish, but we actually have got some content to go through today.
Yeah.
After our first two episodes, I think were actually quite good and educational. The last time we basically just talked rubbish the entire time.
Just
But,
talk
so
shit
question
for
number
2
one,
hours.
we're going to dive into. So thank you for everyone who submitted these. Protocol for when clients become ill, which I think is quite apt at the minute because everyone in the UK seems to be ill, i.e. cold, flu in regards to nutrition intake. Do you do anything different with guys and girls when they're ill?
I would go. Rest is best in terms of. I'd rather unload as much physiological stress as possible and get them back to 100% as quickly as possible. Nutrition, I'd try and keep around maintenance calories, just so if you had a client that was pushing food aggressively, you might pull the food down a little bit just to alleviate some stress on their GI, and they probably don't have an appetite anyway. And likewise, if you had a client in a deficit that was ill, you would probably spend a bit of time back up as opposed to staying down to allow for better recovery ability, better sleep, etc. And then I would generally just say, some people might say deload and pull back in the gym. I'd just say just rest and sleep, hydrate, sort the nutritional side out and just give the body as much time as possible to get back to 100%. Support the immune system with things that we know are going to be immunosupportive. So like your zincs, your vitamin C's, your vitamin D in particular, D3, like liquid D3 at a very high dose. For like guys, I put that like 10,000 IU plus a day. Glutathione is great. Sometimes if they have access to it, I just use the kids' version of Sambucol, the drink, because you can get this like high dose vitamin C and zinc in one drink. I know some people like Echinacea, but the liposomal glutathione is brilliant, and high dose vitamin D is brilliant as well. Supplement Needs have got that Immuno Pro, I think, with a lot of that in it, which is decent because it's just tablet form and you get all of it in one. But yeah, like the biggest thing to understand for that is if you're immunosuppressed, your sleep's probably compromised, your recovery's compromised, your performance is compromised. All you focus on is just getting right. How do I get back to where I was previously as quickly as possible? And the more stress that's on your body, the longer it's going to take for you to actually get back to that set point in the first place.
And I think that's where people go wrong, isn't it? I think because people are so dogmatic and bloody minded, they're like, I can just train through this.
Yeah.
They're like, well, I can just, if I keep going as normal, I'm going to get better. But all that does is, rather than having symptoms for like 3 or 4 days, you keep doing, say for example, people keep training, they keep doing like they're living their normal life, but at like 70% because things don't feel that great, and they end up being that way for like 2 weeks. Yeah. I'll be exactly the same thing. I'll be like, look, let's rest up, let's take the time that we need. It's always better to kind of go short, sharp, actually getting over something, and then you can get back into stuff.
Yeah.
The most frustrating thing is, like, imagine like a high rep leg press set and you can't breathe because your nose is so blocked. Like, you don't want that for 2 weeks, do you? And all the sessions to feel a bit shit and a bit off. You want to be at a point where it's like, actually, I can get back into rolling again as soon as I can.
100%.
And it's even, a lot of the time people know that but don't implement it at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, can I just go and do this? And I'm like, nah, mate, sit down, breathe, replace that. You can still move, like, to a certain extent, activities can be very useful. Like, I'll do it where it's like, rather than the time you let someone typically go and train, like, get outside for a walk, get some fresh air, go and move, go and do something. I don't just become a complete slug, but don't do anything that's actually going to stress the body out too much, because otherwise you're just going to make it worse for yourself.
Yeah.
Did Dean used to have a protocol? I know he's got plenty, but was there a cold protocol and an illness protocol that he used to use?
Yeah, that's where I got the vitamin D thing from. Dean was just like, just put vitamin D into every orifice in your body.
That's why liquids, because it's much more comfortable than capsules.
He's like, how much vitamin D have you got accessible to you right now? Take it all.
Go on holiday to the sun, and then
let me see my notes on my.
I think it was vitamin A in something, from memory.
If somebody wanted a good afternoon spent, just go onto the notes on my computer, because I've got client notes all the way from 2016 on here.
Oh, what's your first one? What's your first client note? Because would that have been M10?
Yeah, it would have been, yeah.
I'll do the same on mine. If I got
1st of May 2016. In response to muscle stress satellite cell activation, proliferation and differentiation, we fuse and form new myofibers. During chemotaxis, cells move in response to chemical signals. Fuck me, what the hell is this?
That's a lot of words that you've not said in a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's mad. Let me see if I can find the immune system.
See, mine goes back to 2018, which is actually a stock take at UP.
Oh, really?
So if you'd like to know how many tubs of chocotrients we had, and the large Ultramag, which is our magnesium supplement, mate, I can tell you what we had on the 21st of March 2018.
Valuable.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to search it as well, because I swear you told me the protocol.
Yeah, I told you.
Vitamin A. Oh, it's not going to come up, I don't think. Gut health bundle? No. No, mine hasn't got it.
Thing is, it would have been absolutely ages ago this because I remember him sending it to me the first time because this is what he formulated the Immunopro from.
To be fair, it's probably quite good for the people listening to have 5 minutes of us just reading notes.
This is riveting content.
Yeah, this is the equivalent of people coming on and just watching us read a book.
Like if you were in your car right now driving where you can't see the screen, like this must be probably the best podcast you've ever listened to.
It's like those podcasts, where you don't know if it's buffering or if it's pause or something. Like someone's taking a big pause, so you go check your phone, then suddenly it comes back through again.
Maybe they've just left.
Our 7 viewers.
Oh yeah, I've got it.
Ah, there we go. So for the 2 people,
The COVID-19 protocol.
Love that.
30,000.
Sorry, no, you've got to read this in Dean's voice, by the way, as well.
The pharmacokinetics and the pharmacodynamics.
It's good, just you need to go a bit slower. That's the only thing.
So we've got electrolytes, fasted electrolytes in the morning. We have 30,000 IU of vitamin D drops, split AM, PM. 30,000 IU.
That's a lot of drops, that is, as well. That's a full
20 milliliters, which is 1,200 milligrams of liposomal curcumin. 20 milliliters, which is 1,200 milligrams of liposomal vitamin C. 3 servings of liposomal glutathione daily, which is 1,500 milligrams, spaced every 4 hours. And yeah, that kid's Sambuco as well, 1 bottle a day.
Christ. So you'll either get better or you're going to shit yourself. There's no.
Yeah, well, either way it's a win.
You're going to shit out all the vitamin D.
Exactly.
Worrying thing is, if most people took 38,000 IUs of vitamin D, they'd probably feel a lot better anyway.
Exactly, yeah.
It's like that's baseline dosage for people to actually be healthy in the UK.
Yeah, vitamin D was a big one. Big one.
Yeah. So there you go. So anyone, because it seems to be the entirety of the UK has been ill over the last month.
I haven't been ill, but I haven't been here, so that's probably why.
Exactly, or you're about to get ill.
Or I'm about to get ill, yeah.
I'm sure Hannah will love that, mate. If you make her ill, give her a cold at the minute.
I know.
2 months out. I think she's 8 weeks out.
Yeah, that's the worst thing that could happen right now.
Just lock yourself in your office. Sorry, darling, I've got work. But yeah, so anyone who's ill or has early symptoms, rest up. Take, I think Cal said 60,000 IUs of vitamin D up your ass, and then you'll be fine in about 2 weeks. And take a kid's supplement. Calpol as well. Calpol is also good for you. That's a good fix.
Calpol's very good.
And you'll be fine. And then, second question. What approach would you take with a client that requires 3,000 plus calories but can only eat 3 times a day? And to be honest, they've kind of answered this in the question. 3 meals a day that add up to 3,000 calories is the
that would be 1,000 calories 3 times.
That is. Don't tell me that you're not educated. That's the man who. Actually, no. We can get onto this, and our next stage of ridiculous, and I'll show you my party trick after this. But yeah, it's not, mate. 3,000 calories 3 times a day. That's pretty much my day at the minute.
Yeah,
that's what I do. I'm assuming this is for someone that struggles to eat, so appetite is poor, or for a female client that isn't used to eating that amount of food. It's just relatively simple. Like base your diet still around high quality food, and then just top up calories with simple things that someone can eat. I call it the smart casual diet, where you've got a decent protein source, you've got a decent fat source, you've got some veg in there, and you've got a decent carb source to kind of cover everything from a micronutrition standpoint. If that adds up to 500 calories, then 500 calories is some more simple food. Like if you want to bring in whatever it can be that someone actually is capable of eating, if it's a bagel with some jam or peanut butter bagel or some dates or some dark chocolate, like anything that someone can eat at that point, because you know you've got the guarantee that their actual food quality is still being ticked off. Like I think it stops someone getting to that headspace of I just need calories, and they just end up eating a load of rubbish and they wonder why they feel terrible. But equally, they're not trying to get 3,000 calories of potato down, because that's also not going to go very well either. So yeah, it's high quality food, easily palatable food, and also work with them on the foods they actually want to eat. If, for example, like someone prefers rice or pasta as the carb source, get them eating it, because if appetite is an issue, the more someone can actually enjoy their diet, the easier they're going to find things as well. There's nothing worse than looking at a mixing bowl of something you don't actually want to put down, because all it makes you do is want to cry.
Yeah. Yeah, just more calorically dense food options.
Yeah. I know we briefly touched on this. What was the most your food ever got up to? Your peak of big cold days?
5,000 plus one delivery a day.
Delivery a day.
Yeah.
Nando's.
That was Nando's pretty much for like a year straight. I used to have Nando's every day.
Because mine got
double chicken pitta.
Powerful stuff.
With halloumi inside. Double rice, which was like, I don't know, like 1,300 calories or something.
It's not even really an off plan.
That's the thing though. It's like it's pretty clean, and my digestion and stuff was sweet. So
I got to just over 5,500, and I think Christian held me there for about 6 months. And not helping there, like we put it there for about 6 months. So I just didn't gain any real body weight. I kind of got to a point where I'm like, well, that's maintenance. And mine was, I'd have to train first thing in the morning. I'd have post-workout, it was either 250 or 300 grams of carbs. I can't remember off the top of my head which one it was. Pretty much entirely from cereal. Maybe some Squares bars. And then I would cook up a kilo of mince and a 500 gram bag of rice. And then that would just be my day. I'd have a little bit of veg with it, and I'd be like, right, well, I'll just portion that into 3. Done. And I look back on that now, mate, and I'm like, there were some dark days.
Yeah.
Like, I remember trying to... And I'd also have 100 grams of carbs intra. So it would be by 8 o'clock in the morning.
And that adds up as well. The intra workout when it's like super dense, it's actually quite hard.
But it's like soup, not just super dense.
Yeah.
But I remember it'd be like 8 o'clock in the morning, and I have 400 grams of carbs in me, and I'd have to try and start work. I'm like, I can't think. Like, it would be nigh impossible. Not good days. That's where insulin's your best friend, though. There were some fun times. I think carbs were at about 900 grams a day, and I could not have done that without some little bit of extra assistance.
Yeah,
not fun. Also, the little thing actually to add on to that client, with meals that sort of size, get them to go for a little 5-10 minute walk afterwards. Otherwise, that's going to be sitting in their stomach, and they're going to feel horrible. It'll help manage blood sugar, but also just generally energy through the afternoon and digestion. So, don't let them become a complete slog. Otherwise, they're going to feel pretty terrible. But yeah, do you want to hear my party trick?
Go on.
So I think we might have done this in Mykonos actually. If you give me a 2-digit number times
Oh
a 2-digit
no, I've
number,
heard it. Yeah, I've heard it.
I'll be able to beat your calculator.
24.
What's that?
24.
24.
Yeah, I'll give you a 2-digit number.
Yeah, but it's got to be times another 2-digit number.
Oh right, okay.
You look so proud of yourself that you thought of a 2-digit number. Like, oh mate, you look at me and be like, well, fucking go on then.
Yeah, I was like, deal with it. 24 times 16.
384.
Okay, now, all right. One more. 29 times 17.
Hang on, 17 or 70?
17.
So 17. 493.
Fucking hell!
I do parties, kids' parties when anyone wants to hire me. I'm not allowed that close to them with this task.
Is this taught on the ICM?
It should be. It should be.
I'd 100% be doing that on sales calls.
What? Just after they say hello, just.
It's be like, well, let's just cut to the chase here. Give me 2-digit numbers.
No, I'm picturing you being on a sales call, introduce yourself, and then just sitting there and just saying the number 24 and just staring into their eyes and being like, well, that's all you need.
That's all you need, guys. 24. There you go.
Make of that what you will. But yeah. Again, anyone who's still listening at this point, I'm sure will be incredibly impressed by that.
It is quite impressive. I'll give you that.
I also discovered yesterday, any 3-digit number divided by 8, I can also do very fast. If you want to test me,
474 divided by 8.
59.25.
Fucking hell. It's quite impressive.
Oh, God, only quite. Man.
411 divided by 8.
Oh, easy. 51.375.
What?
Well, we found our agenda for all future episodes. Let's wheel out Al and get him to do some maths.
Fucking hell.
See, I'm a numbers man. I'm much more numbers than words. Like, we were doing those documents with Ben the other day, and we had to think of, like, basically synonyms for words.
Literally
And
the
I
most
was like,
travel thing I've ever done.
can't do that. But if you want some clown maths, I mean,
I was asking the air hostesses the questions. I was like, "Do you understand this?" Because I don't.
when you sent me that screenshot, I was absolutely dying. Something about existential crisis, and you were like, sorry, I don't know what that means.
I was just sat there on the plane, just crying. Oh God.
Oh, they were good times. That was a full day, but worth it for lots of very exciting ICM bits that are coming in. We have to say it's worth it in case Ben listens. So
yes, it's very good. I do recommend.
Definitely worth it. Question number 3: does the ICM have check-in forms, or do we have to make our own?
We do have a check-in form. Yeah,
we do.
We do have a check-in form. I think the Coaching Foundation section goes through data collection and what things and why we track and how to analyze it. But there is a downloadable check-in form on there as well.
Yes, but I actually think that's quite a good question to elaborate on, because it does. But equally at the same time, I did a post about this last week. Like, having a nice check-in form isn't everything.
Yeah.
Realistically, like what we try and teach in there is we do give a template for it that people can download, but we teach actually how to use it. Like, think back to 5 years ago in lockdown, the amount of people that nicked the Moss Mentors coaching sheets, and the amount of people that still do now. Like, a lot of people's coaching sheets now look pretty much the same thing, and it doesn't really matter what they look like. It matters what information you're taking from a client and what you're actually doing with it. Like, a fancy sheet doesn't make someone necessarily like a high-level coach. It's actually what you're actually going to do with the information that the sheet gives you. And that's why why Coaching Foundations, there's hours and hours going through that. It's, okay, so client reports back with this issue, or reports back that this thing's happened over the last few days. What do you do? Like, if you've taken the information in the first place, that's the smallest piece of the puzzle. The actual coaching prowess comes through when you actually can utilise it properly afterwards. So for anyone who's not signed up, yes, we do give away a template, but there are levels beyond that they should be diving into as well. Which, as I said, we teach. I think Coaching Foundations now, because Coaching Foundations we've expanded out into gym floor PT, and I want to say there's about 20 hours on there now in that section alone, going through all of that.
20 hours.
Yeah, like it's obscene the amount of depth that's in there. Like, going into, I said, the information you take during a consultation, like what do you do with that information, data tracking, like all those kind of things that I think, to be honest, mate, the stuff that you and I probably just do almost like innately because we've been doing this for so long. But actually, like, what the thought process is, like, if client checks in with X amount of issues through the week, okay, what's happened? Why has it happened? What we're going to do about it? Which, when you've done this for long enough, it kind of becomes like that thing that's just like, you just click your fingers and you know.
Yeah.
From experience, but for coaches who are less experienced, it's kind of the thought process you can go through in your head, like the questions that you ask yourself, like why you want to go down a certain route and what's the thinking behind it, and then you do that with the client. So there's good question by the chap who asked that, but also only kind of a small piece of the puzzle.
I think the check-in sheet as well is also like, we've all made the mistake before of trying to feature way too much sometimes in terms of data capturing, and I think the beauty of that, particularly with the Excel stuff, and even like the stuff that we did the other day with Lou making those new sheets, is the ability to like add or take away in terms of like what you actually want to capture with each client and being able to rein that back or advance it based on the situation. Because I think when we first started, especially with the muscle mentors, like I remember when Luke made the first check-in sheet and it had everything under the sun, but then obviously the longer you do that, the more refined you think. Sometimes like that is just creating more stress sometimes than good in regards to over-analysis of every variable. So if there's a problem with sleep, for example, yeah, we could add in more data collection on, sleep analysis and capturing Oura ring data, etc. But, sleep is good, then maybe we just go off a perceived value in terms of being, having like an objective understanding of how they feel. But I think you can, like the simple fact of being on G Drive on Excel and having a sheet that you can hide, for example, like there might be columns on there that you just take away for a certain client because you don't feel as though they're relevant, but it's kind of understanding the client that's in front of you and what their needs are, and then molding the data capturing around that.
I think as a general rule of thumb, the newer a client is to all of this stuff, the less information you want to potentially track.
Yeah.
Like if I took on someone who had never been coached before, like on a consult, had to explain to them what online coaching was, and they'd never tracked anything before.
Yeah.
You potentially just need body weight, pictures once a week, and that might be literally all that you take.
Yeah.
Because if you give them, as you said, like that full check-in sheet of, I want you to track HIV, and I want you to take blood pressure, and I want you to take this and this and this, they're going to have no idea what all these things are, and it's going to be a full-time job, and they're going to be completely overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I actually think it's actually sometimes safer to err on the side of caution and take slightly too little data, but just have the essential points where you actually know what's happening each week. Because you can always start to add bits onto it, but people don't want to. So especially newer people, especially more kind of Gen Pop clients, they don't want to fill in a 4-page document on their laptop every single week.
No. And like even like the simple things are like health markers. For all my athletes, even the advanced people, the only two things they track consistently are resting heart rate and blood pressure. The only two things, and there'll be situations where I'll capture other parts there, but it'll be rare for most people that start. And then if you're going through, like if I pulled open a check-in sheet now and went through like the objective markers of what we're actually, it would be a good new client that's just started. It's like on this check-in sheet now we've got body weight averages, taking an average across the week from daily input, or just taking 3 across the week to create an average there from 3. We've got 9 markers, so we basically got biofeedback, which just goes through energy and wellness marker. It's like overall wellness, well-being across the week, energy levels, muscle soreness, hunger and appetite, any digestive regularity. I don't normally I remember when I used to do like stool analysis there in terms of Bristol stool chart, but I'll just put digestive analysis in terms of any bloating, gas, discomfort, yes or no, and then they can elaborate on that if they need to, because typically if they flag a digestive issue, it's probably related to stools being off as well at the same time, so it kind of goes hand in hand. Training and activity tracker, so noting down session for the week, performance in that session, readiness going into that workout, and a step count. And then just total sleep duration and sleep satisfaction, perceived sleep satisfaction 1 to 5. Blood pressure, resting heart rate, done. So like, it takes 5 minutes to fill out, if that, but it's got all the markers that I need there to kind of have a pretty good understanding of what's happened across the week. And then the rest of the feedback from that is going to be more subjective over what they've actually input in the notes section. And then giving feedback and elaborating on how the week's gone. And sometimes in that situation, if there's things that are more pressing, it's probably been done through the week on WhatsApp anyway. If there's something that's happened, they've probably communicated with you anyway, so you're kind of in the loop with what's going on. The actual check-in document is more so just like, right, read that through, a couple of minutes, confirm what's been going on, right, now we set feedback.
And even, I think that's a really good example of some of the markers that you track can be more important than others because they almost like open the door for other things to be off.
Yeah.
Like as you said there, you don't need to necessarily have different layers to sleep or digestion. It's a case of how's this been, good or bad?
Yeah.
How's this been, good or bad? You don't necessarily need to know the depths of it. And even like a lot of the time, like I always find myself on Loom videos kind of going through, right, where's the trigger for all this stuff? If we find that, again, stomach or sleep are off, what's the cause? Or whatever it
Yeah.
might be. And it's typically going to be something stress related through the week.
Yeah.
So it's a case of we might see that almost like that downstream symptom of something being slightly skewed, but you don't necessarily need to see that to the nth degree.
Yeah.
It's can we establish, right, has something been slightly off? It's more than likely going to be stress related. Does something happen through the week? Right, let's reflect back and see if we can fix that.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way that people need to look into data collection. It's not kind of going into every single thing that's gone wrong through the week. It's like, right, can we start to get the essential bits taken first? Give us that like idea of what's actually happened through the week, and then we fix it. Because we're as coaches, mate, we're pretty much problem solvers, aren't we? That's our role.
100%.
We look for issues in check-in sheets. We look for issues that happen through the week, and we correct those. And if we're able to do that, we can do that effectively, and we have someone at a point where we're fixing things, but then we can get to a stage where we build momentum, and we've got training moving well every single week. We've got the body responding well every single week. Like they're feeling damn good every single week. Like that's ultimately what we're looking for. And if we can do that consistently, that's where progress comes from. But if we're almost like constantly trying to find things, or as I said at the start, like overwhelming people with the amount of things they have to do for us, we're not going to ever get to that point.
Yeah.
It's almost like a slight tangent, but like I see on social media a lot nowadays, it's people like to say what things are wrong. They don't necessarily, they say like, oh, don't do this exercise because of this, or you're going wrong by doing this. They don't actually tell people what's the right thing to do instead. And it can kind of be the same thing with check-in sheets. Like you can always find a problem through the week, but if it doesn't actually have any bearing on things, it doesn't really matter. If it's something that's having like detrimental impacts to other things, then fantastic. But you don't necessarily need to take every single data point and find something slightly off, and for the client to feel like they failed, or for them to feel like, oh, something's behind here. You want them to come away from a check-in every single week, be like, oh, I feel fucking fantastic. Like I can't wait to get next week. And that comes from positive reinforcement rather than finding negativity.
Definitely.
It's interesting as well. I'd imagine you've probably got different check-in sheets you use with different people. Like I know a lot of your clients will be at a similar level, but even within that, there's levels to what you need. And even like through the year, there'll be different things that you'll need from people. Obviously, as you get into latter stages of prep compared to mid-off season, like what you're looking at is vastly different.
Yeah, prep. I just have like a prep version and an off-season version, and a non-English version if they can only say the words "yes, coach."
Some of the stuff you get sent is absolutely unbelievable as well.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yes, coach. Okay.
Oh mate, not good. Sweet. No, I think that was the question that we had come through for this one. We're trying to make these episodes a bit shorter and a bit snappier now. In terms of content though that's coming up within the ICM, I think it's worth touching on that. So we actually have the next section to muscle hypertrophy and foundation hypertrophy is actually that's being uploaded. By the time that you guys listen to or watch this, that will now be live, which is fantastic. So that's us partnering with Ross again, and Ross putting some really, really cool stuff together on that. Obviously, Female Phys got, I think it's 6 or 7 new lectures added onto it recently as well.
Yeah, that's a big update.
Now live, so we got tons of really, really cool stuff happening. We've still got live calls. We may have an in-person event kind of like together later on this year, which is also very, very exciting. There's lots of cool bits going on. Are there any more plans from the prep module for more bits to be added into that? Have you had any more thoughts around that?
Yeah, there will be. There will be, based on the stuff that will come in April. I think there'll be other stuff that we can integrate in, yeah.
Awesome. Because that's the way, like we actually had some questions about this over the last few months. Like, people saying, why is it not finished? And we're like, well, it's never finished in that sense. Like, we're going to constantly be adding to it. The reason we have content drops isn't because it's not there. It's because the stuff that people want to learn changes. And we base this on, like, we've had some people asking for certain lectures to be added into, for example, coaching foundations, and we add them on. Yeah. It's not, the whole pretense with the ICM, it's not just a one course buy and go. It's continually learning, continuing developing yourself as a coach, like being in an environment and a community where you're able to do that. So we're going to be constantly adding to it. Like, we're nearly a year in, and we've probably added as much content as what we actually initially launched in April to start with.
Oh, so, definitely, yeah, definitely. But that's just like that's the whole notion of like it's not a high ticket buy-in because you're not getting something that just is what it is and never changes. You're paying you're paying into a subscription model, because ultimately, whether that's a larger commitment or a short commitment monthly, ultimately it's going to be something that just continues to evolve as essentially what we do evolves from a coaching standpoint. So as new avenues start to emerge and as new ways of thinking start to emerge, it's essentially your ability to stay up to date with what you should be doing from a coaching perspective to maximize your results, because we're doing it and we're going to teach you what we're doing.
Again, look back to 5 years ago, how you and I would have coached, how much would have changed in that time.
Yeah,
like different
massively,
things
yeah.
that we've tried that have worked, things that haven't worked, and that's across everything. That's actually applying stuff. But as we said a few minutes ago, like, what do we take during check-ins? That's very different.
Yeah.
Our consult form is
Yeah.
now very different because we go through waves of trying different things, and some things work and some things don't.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately what the industry is all about. And if we can then teach that to people, then they don't have to make mistakes. They can just learn from us instead.
Definitely.
Awesome, guys. Well, in which case, we are going to actually wrap that one up there. So we're trying to make this a bit shorter and snappier. And Cal needs to go to bed.
Yes.
As well. He's got his dressing gown behind him, being hung up, so it's ready to go on, ready for him to get a good night's sleep. But thank you all of you again for tuning in. Again, I think we've had some educational stuff on there and some rubbish. So hopefully you've enjoyed this one as always. Again, we'll keep putting up question boxes and bits that you want to see. Again, we'll have the sign up link for the ICM. Anyone who is not a member in the bios for all the different, the captions for all the different platforms as well. So YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So thank you very much all of you for tuning in, and we'll catch up with all of you in the next one.
Peace out.